big state of Haryana. And Rahul, Haryana is very important because this is really the first big, almost direct Congress versus BJP battle.
Why almost direct?
Because you've got small regional parties, but it is essentially Congress and BJP, the first big battle that India's two national parties are having since the Lok Sabha elections. So was Lok Sabha an aberration where it was 5-5 in Haryana, or will we see one of these two parties move ahead? I think that makes Haryana extremely important because it could then build up to what comes next, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, and then Delhi in a few months down the line. So I think what happens in Haryana over the next few days, and of course in the exit poll, will give us a sense of, is there an anti-incumbency mood against state governments? Is the BJP on the back foot?
BJP has also been in power now for 10 years.
Sure, but that's
in a state where it never really had much of a base. Just the fact that they've been able to govern for 10 years is by itself quite remarkable. This is not like a Gujarat or a Madhya Pradesh or a Rajasthan, which is a core BJP area. In a state where there are fairly new, powerful entrants. They were fringe players before this.
Sure. With one caveat, Rahul. Remember last time they had to form a government by taking the support of a regional party, the JJP. So a party which was dominant in 2014, by 2019 took the support of a regional party.
No, the point I'm making is some states are core BJP states. Like a Gujarat, Rajasthan, or Madhya Pradesh. Haryana isn't one of those. So when you look at the results, remember, this is a state where the BJP had been able to make an ingress. It's not a core BJP state in that same sense.
It isn't, but it would also tell us whether You see, one of the trends of Indian politics in recent times, and we've seen it even before the Lok Sabha election, was anti-incumbency. Sure. Rajasthan, Congress lost. Chhattisgarh, Congress lost. Madhya Pradesh, BJP held, and you could argue it's a BJP-controlled state now. Karnataka, before that, BJP was in power, Congress won. Is anti-incumbency against state governments now an enduring phenomenon? Because that will also tell us that's what happens in Maharashtra, where remember there's a BJP-led alliance in power. What will happen in Jharkhand, where there's a JMM Congress alliance? I'm just saying, or Kejriwal in Delhi. Are we reaching the stage where anti-incumbency against state governments, whether 5 years, 10 years, is an enduring phenomenon? I think Haryana will give us a teaser to that. And whether the Modi factor...
But there is a big difference. The difference is, Congress governments are facing that anti-incumbency at the end of their first term. The BJP has lasted 2 terms in a state where they weren't traditionally powerful. There's a very big difference. Take any Congress state, whether it was a Rajasthan or a Chhattisgarh, 5 years later they were beaten quite badly.
Sure, but there will be worries even if the Congress is able to stage a comeback. I think the BJP can't simply say, 10 years of anti-incumbency. They will also have to look at what is changing. Is Narendra Modi, who normally lifts the BJP between 2014 and 2019, Rahul, in states like Maharashtra, for example, where again BJP was never the party number one, Mr. Modi made them party number one. After 2019, we saw a big difference where Mr. Modi alone could not lift his party. The party unit had to do it. So many will say, this election will show whether Mr. Modi can arrest anti-incumbency against the state government. The anti-incumbency is not against Mr. Modi.
But that's an unfair
The anti-incumbency is against Manohar Lal Khattar and Naib Singh Saini.
Absolutely. It wasn't the case in 2019 either. When the BJP won 10 out of 10 in 2019, the Lok Sabha election, in the assembly election soon after they struggled, they needed Dushyant Chautala. So to put this on Prime Minister Modi is an unfair proposition.
No, I'm saying, you see, because the BJP at the end of the day, even in state elections, has relied on Mr. Modi far more than their state leaders. You see, Manohar, one of the interesting things of this Haryana election, and we'll have more in a moment, Manohar Lal Khattar, Chief Minister for 9.5 years, was not even present at most of the rallies, was not even there on any of the posters. So you are relying, BJP is relying on a new Chief Minister, supported by Mr. Modi as the double engine.
But a new Chief Minister who didn't get enough time. Naib Saini came in March. Few days later, you had a model code of conduct. The Lok Sabha elections get over a few weeks later.
We have to agree, Mr. Modi is still the biggest asset the BJP has. If they start losing state governments, it shows that even despite him being an asset, if your state government is not seen to deliver or not seen to perform or is facing anti-incumbency, relying on Mr. Modi will not be enough. That's why I think Haryana becomes important. Similarly for the Congress. The Congress has to start showing that it can win states in the Hindi heartland or in North India, because except, for Himachal, we haven't seen the Congress actually win in recent years. So for the Congress, this election is critical.
Let's take our viewers through the methodology adopted for this post-poll study. There's a total sample size of 13,817, out of which 7,035 are face-to-face respondents and 6,782 are telephonic respondents. So essentially, you go out to all the 90 assembly constituencies, you meet respondents, 100-odd respondents in every seat, and then you do a follow-up with the database you already have, which is a telephonic follow-up from the state of Haryana to see whether what you're picking up on the phone is similar to what your respondents have found on the ground. The confidence interval is about 95%. We've built certain models, which we'll take you through in just a moment from now, to give you a sense of what could happen if the fight in the marginal seats really changes. So all that said and done, let's go across to Preeti Chowdhury, who will take our viewers through the vote share and the seat share for Haryana. Preeti.
All right, so let's look at how the Haryana dangal's panning out in terms of vote share, and remarkably different than what the Haryana political landscape was in 2019. At vote share, in terms of projected vote share, the Congress right now stands at 44%, up from 28.3% in 2019. Moving on to the BJP, largely holding on to its vote share of 2019. The projected vote share for the Bharatiya Janata Party now stands at 37%. That's even 0.5 up from what it was in 2019. Now, look at the others here. The others stand at 19%. This is actually as well 3% of the JJP. And mind you, the JJP, which turned as kingmaker in 2019, had a vote share of 14.8%. The projected vote share of the then kingmaker JJP is now 3.8%, which comes in where the others are concerned. The others, in terms of the INLD, the BSP, the Aam Aadmi Party, as well as the other independents, over 400 independents in the fray, together have come up with 19%, which includes the 3.8% of the JJP. The biggest difference in it all, Rajdeep and Rahul, is the others, because the Congress has picked up the vote share, at least with what we are projecting, of all what it was the others. The last time around, the others, which included the JJP and others, stood at 35% in 2019. That has now shrunk to 19%, and all of that taken, mopped up by the Congress, making it an intensely bipolar contest between the BJP and the Congress.
So what are the numbers?
Let's move on now to the projected numbers in terms of seats where each party is concerned, and this is what it looks like. Congress stands comfortably home. 50 to 58 seats projected for the Congress. The Bharatiya Janata Party down to 20 to 28 seats, and others at just 10 to 16 seats. The Congress, Mr. Huda standing there on the right, would be very, very happy looking at this seat projection. 50 to 58 seats coming in for the Congress. The Congress, the last time around, stood at 31. It's a 50 to 58 seat projected jump for the Congress. The BJP, which was at 40, is now, in 2019, is now projected with 20 to 28 seats. The others, 10 to 16 seats. The last time in itself, the JJP was at 10 seats. But now, JJP, INLD, Aam Aadmi Party, and all the independents getting no more than 10 to 16 seats. And that's what it points out towards, Rajdeep. An intensely bipolar contest. What's interesting is the BJP holds on to its vote share, actually even marginally goes up by 0.5%, but in terms of seats, dramatic fall, at least with what is being projected right now.
That's right, and a dramatic rise also in the Congress's vote share. Remember, the Congress was at 28% vote share last time. It goes up to 44, Rahul, which is 16% up. Where does it get the vote share? Not from the BJP. But what we expected, the decline of the regional parties, independents, remember, and others were 18% last time. JJP was 14, INLD was almost 2.5. So add the three, you add about 35%. That has shrunk to 19, and the Congress goes up by 16. It's a simple arithmetical election.
The BJP holds on, despite 10 years of anti-incumbency, the BJP holds on to and marginally increases its vote share from 36.5% in the last election to 37.2%. That's 0.7% up, despite being in power for 10 years. The story of the elections is that Dushyant Chautala, because he tied up with the BJP, despite having got all the Jat votes on an anti-BJP campaign, has lost legitimacy in the eyes of the voters of Haryana. His vote share has crashed from 14.8 to 3.8. That's down 11%. And that is largely the gain the Congress has seen with their vote share going up a total of 16%. So you can play these games, Amitabh Tiwari. You can fool the voter once. You cannot fool the voter again and again. That's the story of the Haryana post-poll study.
Yeah, so essentially in 2019, JJP got 31% of Jat votes. It divided the Jat land or the Jat influenced seats into three-way split between the BJP, the Congress and the JJP and others. And as you have said, the Jat community has gone back to the Congress party. So this 31% of Jat vote means 6-7% votes.
This was part of the engineering of the BJP. It shows this too much jugaad and engineering doesn't work.
Well, it was also about, Devi Lalji's family holding on to, the last clutches of Haryana politics. But this decline of both Abhay Chautala, Dushyant Chautala started off 3-4 years back. They have been consistently coming down and losing public support.
No,
But no, Rajat Sethi, the decline of the JJP has solely come.
Look at
So
Mehbooba and Jammu and
anybody who is alive with the
It's
BJP
the
will not be
PDP,
able to go out and absolutely.
The JJP today is the PDP of Jammu and Kashmir.
True, that's
you tied
what-
up with the Bharatiya Janata Party and the JJP situation exactly the same. Where the INLD is concerned, in 2019, Rajat, the JJP had broken away from the INLD, which was seen as a corrupt and a party which were, they're called lathets in Haryana, basically muscle men. It broke up from that. It was a party with a young leader. A lot of people in Haryana, especially the Jat community, saw Mr. Chautala, which is Dushyant Chautala, as a representation of that. They voted for him on the account of that, of representation. And then being let down in the eyes of not just the Jat community, a lot of others also allied with the INLD.
Preeti, what you're saying, I think the bigger picture will be this. If this trend continues, this is one election, 2024, one election where the regional parties, INLD and JJP, they were part of one alliance. This was a very strong, I look at the numbers of just 2014. In 2014, when they were united, they had almost 25% of the vote and they won 19 seats. They were a party which won 47 seats and were in a majority in 2000. In 20 years, if a regional party now goes into decline and it becomes bipolar, then Haryana's politics changes forever. Because then it means that you're going to have to, you can't win an election only by winning the Jat vote or only winning it purely by the OBC vote. These are the two, the Dalit vote, 22%. If these numbers are right, the Congress seems to have got a substantial portion because this is the highest percentage, if our numbers hold, that the Congress has got in the last 25 years, 44%.
Even more than the 2005 election.
That's right.
Which was seen as a tectonic election for the Congress.
Which would mean that it is not just a Jat consolidation,
It means
but
an
it is
Ahirwal
Jat,
consolidation.
but a Jat and
a Yadav
Dalit.
Ahirwal consolidation, Raj.
And also Dalit, you see, and this is the one factor, Rahul, of 2024 Lok Sabha, which stands out for me. I've just finished writing a book and I've been looking for factors to explain it. It is a 5% change in the Dalit vote that took place, which went to the Congress. In Haryana, with a 22% Dalit vote, if they start getting it, mainly possibly Chamar vote, but if they get it,
Rajdeep,
and the BJP's one-point agenda the last
Rajdeep,
week, I've been looking at all the papers of Haryana. BJP's one-point agenda was attack the Congress on the Dalit vote. Kumari Shelja has been discriminated against. The Dalit leaders never get their due. That, if these numbers hold...
Rajdeep, can I say something? A jump of 15.7%, which is nearly 16% in vote share, hasn't just come because of the Jat and Dalit combined. Because I'll tell you why.
Sure,
this will need a sizable shift from the Yadav Ahirwal community towards the Congress to add to this.
That will depend, of course, on where they get their seats.
Preeti, that happened already in the Lok Sabha.
Exactly.
Congress got 51% OBC votes.
That means 2024 Lok Sabha wasn't quite an aberration.